Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. Remember high school? Yeah, me too. Especially those awesome years in the 2010s. We're talking skinny jeans, catchy pop songs, and the rise of social media. Life before Instagram filters and viral TikTok dances seems like a lifetime ago, right? We were rocking out to Lady Gaga, freaking out over Justin Bieber's hair, and trying to figure out how to take the perfect selfie. Remember those awkward school dances, the thrill of getting your driver's license, and the endless drama that seemed to unfold in the hallways? Ah, good times. Buckle up because we're about to take a hilarious trip down memory lane. Can we talk about the tech revolution that went down during our high school years? We went from rocking those clunky flip phones to sleek smartphones faster than you could say hashtag. Remember the days of texting under the table during class? And who could forget the rise of Facebook? We spent countless hours scrolling through our news feeds, stalking our crushes, and sharing those oh-so-witty status updates. Let's not forget about the tablet invasion. Suddenly, everyone and their grandma had an iPad, and we were all trying to figure out how to use those fancy touchscreens. From grainy webcam chats to crystal-clear video calls, technology was changing faster than our ability to keep up. But hey, we were riding that tech wave like pros. Hold up, gotta take a selfie. Remember when selfies were just starting to become a thing? It was like a whole new world opened up. Suddenly, everyone had a camera in their pocket, and we were all the stars of our own little photo shoots. Whether it was in the classroom, at a school event, or just hanging out with friends, capturing the moment became an essential part of our daily lives. The 2010s were basically the Wild West of social media. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter were still figuring out their identities, and so were we. We were the pioneers, navigating this uncharted territory with our smartphones as our compasses. It was a time of discovery, experimentation, and yes, a lot of awkward posts that we might cringe at now, but back then, it was all part of the fun. We were the pioneers figuring out this whole online world one awkward post at a time. Remember planking or the Harlem Shake? These viral trends swept through our schools like wildfire. One day you'd see a few people doing it, and the next it seemed like everyone was in on the joke. It was a way to connect, to be part of something bigger than ourselves, even if it was just for a laugh. Suddenly, everyone was a comedian, a dancer, or a social media influencer, even if we didn't know what that was yet. We were creating content, sharing it with the world, and waiting eagerly for the likes and comments to roll in. It was a new form of expression, a way to showcase our personalities and talents no matter how silly or serious they were. We were obsessed with getting likes, comments, and followers. Every notification was a little hit of dopamine, a validation of our creativity and social standing. It was addictive, and we couldn't get enough. We'd spend hours scrolling through our feeds, liking, commenting, and sharing, always looking for the next big thing to be a part of. And let's be real, we may have spent a little too much time crafting the perfect witty caption. Hey, no judgment here. Coming up with something clever and funny was an art form in itself. We wanted to stand out, to make our posts memorable, and sometimes that meant agonizing over a few words for way longer than we'd like to admit. Social media definitely had its downsides, but it also connected us in ways we never thought possible. We could keep in touch with friends and family, share our experiences, and even make new friends from around the world. It was a way to stay connected, to feel a part of a community, even when we were miles apart. We could share our lives, our thoughts, and our most embarrassing moments with the click of a button. It was a way to document our lives, to create a digital scrapbook of memories that we could look back on and laugh about. And let's not forget the funny videos and memes that kept us entertained for hours on end. What a time to be alive. It was a unique period in history, a time of rapid change and innovation. We were at the forefront of a digital revolution, and it was exhilarating. Looking back, it's amazing to see how far we've come and how much we've grown. But one thing's for sure, those early days of social media will always hold a special place in our hearts. Okay, let's talk fashion, people. The 2010s were a wild ride in the style department. We had some epic wins and some serious fashion fails. We're looking at you, shutter shades. Remember when skinny jeans were all the rage? We squeezed ourselves into those denim nightmares like it was our job. And who could forget the flower crown phase? We were all channeling our inner Coachella goddess, even if we were just going to the mall. Let's not forget about the rise of athleisure. Suddenly, it was socially acceptable to wear yoga pants everywhere, and we weren't complaining. Hey, comfort is key, right? From neon colors to statement jewelry, we weren't afraid to experiment and express ourselves through our unique and sometimes questionable fashion choices. Section 5. Music to our ears, the soundtrack of our high school days. Get ready to bust a move because we're about to reminisce about the music that defined our high school years. The 2010s were a melting pot of pop, electronic dance music, and hip-hop. We were all about that bass, thanks to artists like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and Rihanna. We danced our hearts out to LMFAO, Gotye, and Carly Rae Jepsen. And who could forget the rise of boy bands like One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer? We blasted these tunes from our iPods, our smartphones, and our laptops. Music was the soundtrack to our lives, whether we were getting ready for school, hanging out with friends, or just trying to survive another day of algebra. Section 6. Academic adventures. Remember those classes we actually enjoyed? Okay, we can't talk about high school without mentioning the academic side of things. It was a huge part of our daily lives after all. From the early morning rush to get to class on time, to the late-night study sessions, cramming for exams, academics were always there, shaping our high school experience. Now I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, you want us to reminisce about classes? Seriously? But hear me out. There were those special moments, those unique classes that stood out from the rest, the ones that made us actually look forward to going to school. Remember those few classes that we actually looked forward to? The ones where the teacher had a way of making the subject come alive, where learning felt less like a chore and more like an adventure? Maybe it was that awesome English teacher who inspired our love of reading, who introduced us to worlds and characters that we still think about today. The discussions we had, the debates, the way we were encouraged to think critically and express our thoughts, or that history class that felt more like a captivating story time. The teacher who could turn the most mundane historical events into thrilling tales of adventure and intrigue. We were transported to different eras, living through the eyes of those who came before us. And let's not forget about those hilarious moments that happened in class. The inside jokes, the funny mishaps, the times when we just couldn't stop laughing. Those moments of pure joy that broke the monotony of the school day. Like that time someone's phone went off with the most embarrassing ringtone ever and the whole class burst into laughter. Or when someone accidentally said something funny and it became the running joke for weeks. Or when the teacher caught us passing notes, the thrill of trying to communicate without getting caught, the creativity we used to fold those notes in intricate ways, and the sheer panic when we realized the teacher was onto us. Sure, there were tests, quizzes, and homework assignments that made us want to pull our hair out, the stress of trying to balance everything, the late nights spent studying, the pressure to perform well, but those challenges also taught us resilience and time management. But hey, at least we had each other to laugh and cry with along the way. The friendships we formed, the bonds we created, the support we gave each other. Those were the things that made the tough times bearable and the good times even better. High school was a mix of ups and downs, but it was those memorable classes and moments that truly made it special. Section 7. Extracurricular extravaganza. From sports to clubs, we did it all. High school wasn't all about textbooks and exams. We were a multi-talented bunch, juggling academics with a whole lot of extracurricular activities. From sports teams to drama clubs, we explored our passions and discovered hidden talents. Remember the thrill of scoring the winning goal, the adrenaline rush of performing on stage, or the satisfaction of finishing a challenging art project? We poured our hearts and souls into these activities, forming lifelong friendships and making memories that would last a lifetime. And hey, who could say no to those snazzy Letterman jackets and shiny trophies? Section 8. Growing pains. Navigating the ups and downs of teenage life. Let's be real, high school wasn't always sunshine and rainbows. We were teenagers after all, trying to figure out who we were, what we believed in, and where we belonged in the world. We dealt with our fair share of drama, heartbreak, and peer pressure. We made mistakes, learned from them, and came out stronger on the other side. But through it all, we had our friends and families to support us. They were our rocks, our cheerleaders, and our shoulders to cry on. They reminded us that we weren't alone in our struggles and that it was okay to not have it all figured out. Section 9. The not-so-fond farewell. Graduation and beyond. And then, just like that, it was over. Graduation day arrived, and we said goodbye to the hallways we'd walked for 4 years, the teachers who'd inspired us, and the friends who'd become family. It was a bittersweet moment filled with excitement for the future and nostalgia for the past. We were finally free, but a part of us wished we could go back to those carefree days of high school. As we embarked on our new adventures, whether it was college, work, or traveling the world, we carried with us the lessons we'd learned, the memories we'd made, and the friendships we'd forged during those transformative years. Section 10. A Decade to Remember, the Legacy of the 2010s High School Experience. The 2010s were a time of significant change and growth, both for us as individuals and for the world around us. High school during this era was a melting pot of experiences, emotions, and transformations. It was a time when we were not just learning from textbooks, but also from the world around us. The hallways were filled with the buzz of conversations, the excitement of new friendships, and the occasional drama that seemed so monumental at the time. We witnessed the rise of social media, the evolution of technology, and the way these advancements began to shape our daily lives. Smartphones became our constant companions, connecting us to a world beyond our immediate surroundings. Social media platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter became the new hangout spots, where we shared our lives, our thoughts, and our dreams. Alongside this digital revolution, there was a cultural shift towards greater acceptance and diversity. Our high schools became microcosms of the broader societal changes, where students from different backgrounds, cultures, and identities came together. We celebrated our differences and learned the importance of inclusivity and empathy. High school during this era was a unique and unforgettable experience. Pep rallies, football games, and school dances were more than just events. They were the moments that brought us together, creating a sense of community and school spirit. These were the times when we felt a part of something bigger than ourselves. It was a time of self-discovery, exploration, and endless possibilities. Whether it was in the science lab, the art room, or the sports field, we were constantly pushing our boundaries and discovering new passions. We were encouraged to think critically, to be creative, and to challenge the status quo. We laughed, we cried, we learned, and we grew. The cafeteria was a place of laughter and camaraderie, where we shared not just meals, but also our hopes and fears. Study groups became our support systems, helping us navigate the academic challenges and the pressures of high school life, and we grew into the people we are today. Graduation was not just a ceremony, it was a rite of passage, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The awards and accolades we received were not just recognitions of our achievements, but also reminders of the hard work and dedication that got us there. So here's to the 2010s, a decade that will forever hold a special place in our hearts. The yearbooks we signed, the graduation caps we threw in the air, and the countless memories we made are all testaments to a time that shaped us in profound ways. A decade that will forever hold a special place in our hearts. We'll never forget the memories we made, the friendships we formed, and the lessons we learned during those awkward, hilarious, and unforgettable years of high school. We'll never forget the memories we made, the friendships we formed, and the lessons we learned during those awkward, hilarious, and unforgettable years of high school. The selfies we took, the yearbooks we signed, and the inside jokes we shared are all part of a tapestry of experiences that we will carry with us forever. And the lessons we learned during those awkward, hilarious, and unforgettable years of high school. From the awkward prom photos to the funny classroom moments, every experience was a building block in our journey of growth and self-discovery, and unforgettable years of high school. As we look back, we realize that these moments, both big and small, have left an indelible mark on our lives. The high school reunions and nostalgic montages remind us of a time that, despite its challenges, was filled with joy, learning, and growth. Here's to the legacy of the 2010s high school experience, a chapter that will always be a part of who we are.